Holt with a sister's heart only for you. And today we have an amazing show, one that I know you're going to be able to relate to. Today we're going to be talking about what do you do when you know your purpose, when you know you have a passion, when you know you have something that you've been assigned to do, but you just don't know how to get started, or you just feel, for lack of a better word, stuck. How do you get unstuck and begin to move forward into what you know you need to do? Now, today we have a beautiful person on the show, and the person of none other than my beautiful and gorgeous daughter-in-law, Tamarra. And Tamara is going to share her journey from where she was and where she is now, how she got there. We're going to talk a little bit about the struggles, but we just want to know right now, who is Tamarra? So Tamarra, just tell me a little bit about yourself.
So Tamarra, 33-year-old wife. I'm a mom of 2 wonderful children. I'm a friend. I'm a worship leader. And yeah, that's me.
Okay. So that's good. That's good, Tamarra. I like that. But a lot of times, I'm going to just say this, a lot of times when people ask who we are, the first thing we start telling is our titles.
Sure.
You know, I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, I'm this, I'm that. But what we want to really know, so most women, I want you to be able to answer this question yourself out there as well. But who is Tamarra? So tell us who Tamarra is.
Okay, so at the core of who I am a person who likes to have fun. I am determined. I'm a hard worker. I'm a very detailed person.
Yes.
I love my family. I love my friends. I love to write. And I love God. I am a woman of God, child of God. I'm after his heart. So that's me.
I love that. I love that. And today we want to just talk about some things to tell us, to show us, and to help us to get to the place where we need to be, to get unstuck. Some of the things that you said you are, I can relate to, and I know you can relate to, but I just want to ask you this question. What are some things that you think would be holding or held you back from getting to the place you know you wanted to be?
I would say, for sure, lack of self-care.
Okay.
Lack of self-care, lack of being organized. But really, one of my biggest things was the comparison. Comparison was a big thing for me. Perfectionism, fear of failure.
Wow.
You know, those are the biggest ones for me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And many of us can really relate to that. A lot of times when we are trying to get to the place where we know we need to be, when we're trying to get to our purpose, when we're trying to fulfill our passion, a lot of times we let those things happen. And the other day, you and I was talking, and we talked about something called the Imposter Syndrome. Explain that to me a little bit.
Yes. So it's actually like a psychological occurrence where we have the accomplishments, we can do the thing, like you can see the fruit of what we do. Everybody knows it. But for some reason, we have this doubt, like I'm not good enough or I can't do it. And it's an internalized fear that someone's going to find us out. You know, it's internalized fear that we're a fraud.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, a fraud. That is okay. Let me just eat this in for a minute. Let me just take this in. A lot of times you're saying that we don't do the things we supposed to do. Well, we know we can do it, but because of this psychological thing that's within us, we feel like people are going to think we are fraud when we know what God has placed inside of us to do. Was that a hindrance for you?
Yes, it's like on one hand, you're like, oh, I got this. You know, we have those moments where we feel empowered, like we got this. We know we can do it. We're confident and we know exactly what God told us to do. Let's just go for it, you know? But then it's those moments where we sit in our thoughts and it's like that internal self-doubt, that internal like sabotage, it just creeps up and we kind of sabotage all the thoughts and plans that God has for us. Even though we know it. We know it came from God, but we really just sit in our thoughts and in this headspace of, man, yeah, I don't think that it's going to be good enough. I don't think it's going to measure up to all the other things I've been seeing, you know?
You use that word sabotage. So have you ever felt that you self-sabotaged? Because that's, people can sabotage us, but you just said, this is like what you're talking about. It's like self-sabotage. Do you think that we sometimes can do that to ourselves?
For sure. I think I for sure can self-sabotage myself when I isolate myself from people that can help me get out of the headspace, especially when I don't do the self-care, when I don't intentionally spend time with God in His Word and let Him to, allow Him to affirm me and build up my spirit, man.
Yeah.
Those things can be self-sabotaging. So I found myself in those places, and I've had to learn over time to really engulf myself in the presence of God, because those moments are going to come. So,
but you got to like pivot yourself. There's another word you always use we have to pivot ourselves out of that place. And once we do that, we can find ourselves moving towards our goal, right?
Right.
So how did you kind of like get yourself out of that self-sabotaging moment?
Right. For one, I was tired of it, for one. But, just seeing how it was, like, okay, like how can I get myself out of this? Spending time in God's presence and knowing the difference in how I start my day. If I'm starting my day reading God's word and talking to Him and like worshiping and getting before Him, my day is totally different. So, those scriptures I read in the morning, when those self-sabotaging thoughts come up, that doubt, that sense of fraud comes up, I've already been grounded with the word. It's already hidden in my heart. So I know how to pivot when those things come up.
Right. I like that. I love that. So we're getting ready to go on a break right now, but we're going to come back, and I want to find out from Tamarra, what was that aha moment that pulled you up out of the place that you were when you were stuck, when you couldn't even pivot? But we want to find out, what was that aha moment that pulled you to the place where saying, I am going to do something about where I am because I'm not happy about it. So we're going to come back. We'll be back in just a little bit, just for her to tell us about that aha moment. Be right back.
Hello. Welcome to Reynolds Cafe.
And we were talking about self-sabotaging. We're talking about the imposter syndrome. All of these things were things that held her back and could be holding you back from getting to the place where you know you need to be, to realizing your dream, to realizing your purpose, to be able to just have your whole passion and just do the thing that you know you're put on this earth to do. So we're going to ask Tamarra. We know you had some setbacks. You know that some things did not go your way. But what was that aha moment that pulled you up out of that place?
I think I just realized, as I was talking about before, like, how my day goes when I spend it with God instead. It's like He reminds me of why He's called me. It's like He gives you that passion again. It's like when you're in His presence, it's like, okay, girl, get it together, calm yourself. Now let's do this. No time for looking at what somebody else is, what they have going on. But come to me. In me, you find your identity. And that's when I realized, in His presence is where I find that peace, that calm, the strength, that mental stability. So, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of a sound mind. And I feel like that that imposter syndrome is like it's kind of like double-mindedness. Like it's kind of like a level of instability. So God gives us that sound mind, that perfect peace in his presence.
And that's what we need. That's what we're going to have. So you just realize within yourself that it was time for you to get up and move. Yeah. And I've seen you on Facebook. I've seen you on Instagram. I've seen you giving messages to people. Yep. How did you even do that? I mean, that seems like it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, but is that paying off for you?
I feel like, at some point, it was just like, for me, with my life, enough is enough. I've been searching. I've been like the one. I'm sure you've probably found yourself in this place where you're like, man, God, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing, Lord? And I've had a couple moments with my friends and family, and they were like, girl, like, you really did your thing when it comes to the kids and being at home with them during the pandemic. Like, you're really a great mom. And I'm like, man, do y'all really know the struggle? And, I was talking to one of my cousins one day, and we were talking about how we have like a lot of the similar struggles and challenges of motherhood, but we don't really share it. So that kind of really showed me like, hey, I really do have something to offer of value that can really help people. And, I feel like that passion that I got just from that conversation, I feel like your purpose kind of like almost aligns with your passion, and God will bless it if you just take the leap and you just move,
That sounds good. So you took a leap, you moved, you started going on Instagram, you started going on Facebook, you started making reels. Yes. And then I noticed that one of your reels even got over 2 million. It went viral.
Yes, 2.1 million views on one of my reels.
So and that had to take some kind of consistency.
Yes.
What is the thing what does consistency have to do with realizing your goal, realizing your purpose, getting to the place where you need to be? The consistency, how do you think that handles in?
I think it's definitely going to take some organizing, some scheduling, and some just commitment, like to see this thing through. And I don't want to keep harping on this, but I do, because, I think that Holy Spirit will continue to remind you of why he put you here, on what you're supposed to be doing in this moment. So had I not allowed him to like come into my heart and not allow myself to just be frustrated or overwhelmed, because the numbers aren't always good, the response is not always good, but God is always there, and he's always going to hold your hand. And I found myself to be actually the most creative when I have spent time in his presence. He'll give me what to say. He'll give me how to share it. It might sound unconventional, but he knows those, like the people watching and listening, those are his people. He knows how to reach them better than I will ever know. He's the ultimate creator.
That's good. So what is next for Tamara?
Well, now I have a few things I'm working on, but I actually just finished publishing a book.
Yay! Yay!
So it's all done. Thank you, Lord. It is all done. The book is for moms, and it's all done. So it actually just came in the mail today. So I get to go home and look through the proof.
So what's the name of the book?
It is called Hey Mama, You Got This.
All right. Hey Mama, You Got This.
Yep.
And so the Hey Mama, You Got This book, what exactly can we expect when we read it?
Okay, so it is for moms. The book is really just to give moms a kind of a template of how to begin their day. It's 21 days of day starters for moms, because it takes pretty much 21 days to build a continual habit. You will find affirmations, you'll find a devotional section, prayer, and a focused scripture, and you'll also have a place where you can reflect. There'll be a question, and you can write down whatever your thoughts are concerning that day. So it's kind of like a devotional. Good. But it's a day starter, so that you can go in, you can read it, take 5 to 10 minutes, and you can start your day and set the tone for your day.
I like that. I like that. I'm looking forward to getting my copy of Hey Mama, You Got This. As we were talking, I know some women out there, and they feel they may have been in the same predicament you were. They might be comparing themselves with other people, and knowing they have something to do, they got something to offer, but they just don't know how to do that, how to get unstuck, how to stop being a viewer, a looker, and now being a participant, to be able to really say, I'm doing what I know I was placed on this earth to do. What advice would you give somebody who just feel like they're stuck?
Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's easy. That's not going to be a challenge to put yourself out there. But what I did was just start. I wrote the status. I wrote how I was feeling. And, I started with social media. So I wrote the status, I wrote how I was feeling, and closed my eyes, just press the send button and just do it. Pray and do it, okay? And allow God to handle the details. Like, just start. You have to just be tired of what your situation is. We can't, if you're tired of how things have been, that's the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. And I'm not calling anybody insane, but I just want to say that if you want something different, you want different results, you got to do something different. You got to just launch out there and do it.
I like that. I think that the main thing that you said is to just do it. One of the things we hinder ourselves by just keep thinking about it. We dream about it. We daydream about it, but we never get up and just do it. Just even to do this show, I could have thought about doing a show all for 24 years, for 25 years, just thinking about, I think I would like to do a show. I think I would like to do this. But until I get up and make the first step towards doing what I know I was placed on this earth to do, I'm just going to be a person that's just always dreaming. And it's nothing wrong with dreaming, but one day that dream has to come to fruition. So I'm so glad that, Tamara, that you have got to the place where you're moving and you're in movement. That's another thing. You got to be in movement. So you're moving and getting to the place where you know God has placed you to be, because you don't know who you're reaching. And when you don't do what you're supposed to do, you hinder yourself. We're not going to we're going to say today, we're not going to self-sabotage. We're not going to have the imposter syndrome, but we're going to get up and we're going to move. So the last thing I'm going to ask Tamara is, give the women some type of last word that you want to give them to encourage them to move and to do what they know God has told them to do.
Okay, I just want you to know that you are unique, that God has something special in mind for you specifically. There's a path that He has graced you to walk down. There's a lane specifically for you. So you don't have to worry about who else is doing it, how they're doing it, how they look doing it. All you have to worry about is what God gave to you. And it doesn't matter how similar it looks. It is unique because you're doing it. There's somebody who's waiting for your voice. There's somebody who's waiting for you to say yes. There's somebody depending on your authenticity. So do it. Move. Do the thing that you've been desiring to do, that God has been calling you to do. And I promise God will breathe on it. He will favor you. He will bless you, and He will increase you. So I just say, do it.
So our last words to you is to do it. Get up. If you've been thinking about doing something, get up and do it. If you've been dreaming about doing something, get up and do it. Get up and do it. And I don't say do it tomorrow. I don't say do it next week. Get up and make a move towards what you know you were placed on this earth to do, and do it now. So we thank God for another show. Thank you for our special guest. Again, this is Miriam from A Sister's Heart. And remember, I don't do it for me. We do it only for you. Till next week.